Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR today for Friday morning, September 23rd, 2022. It's the man they call Meathead, and it's the gentleman squire, Matthew Thomas, because we talk about things that are very classy and sophisticated, Matthew.
That's right. That's what we're known for. People tune into this show every morning to get a little bit of a taste of the finer things in life. And we like to
the Finer
start.
Things Club. I love
Yeah,
that
we
club.
like to start things off with, this is not a show for everybody. This is a show for people with very, very delicate tastes, and I don't mind. I don't mind speaking to you, the listener with the trained ear.
That's right. We shall not discuss flatulence or butthole play. All right.
Is that the new label on the that's the new label on the show, huh?
The title? Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. Matthew Thomas, tell us about the sponsor before I get too far and get us kicked off the air.
I can't remember who sponsors this show anymore after that intro. CollarandElbowBrand.com, available exclusively at CollarandElbowBrand.com. If you want to save some money, you enter promo code LindaK, LINDAKAY. It saves you 10% on all of your collar and elbow needs. I know you said yesterday that you are.
The hoodies are coming.
Yeah, it's kind of that long sleeve weather, and who knows? Maybe they'll have a fall collaboration with Hank Williams Jr. I'm based on yesterday's show.
It's that time of year too. I left my windows open here in the fall-like setting of Appleton, Wisconsin, and I'll be completely honest with you. It got down to 60-some degrees, 62, I think, here in Appleton because I left the windows and the doors open when I got back at about 7 p.m. Holy shnikey! I went right for my hoodie.
Is it soup weather yet?
It's always soup. It's always soup weather. No, but what it is it's chilly weather. You know what? I wanna task our listeners with a job, if I could, Matthew. I know it's been a while, but I'm about to insert myself inside your ears.
Just in time for fall.
That's right. Meathead is now going to come inside you, and I would like you guys to find Stubbs chili mix for me. I'm struggling to find it. Apparently, the company may have discontinued making it, but I need you to find Stubbs chili mix. You can hit me up at WCW Meathead. I'm on the Twitter, the Instagram, the man they call Meathead. I need to find Stubbs chili mix. All right, I pulled out now.
So right. If somebody mails you some, do you just send them to a P.O. box so you're not actually giving your home address away in case somebody wants to?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have a P.O. box. I don't have it yet, but if somebody finds it, then I'll set up a P.O. box for you.
So you're setting up a P.O. box just for your Stubbs chili mix?
Stubbs chili mix. It's a gentleman with a cowboy hat on the front of it, and it's got the seasoning and the like broth inside. That's just amazing.
Oh, his barbecue sauces and all that stuff's all across our shelves here.
Stubbs is amazing, and I believe he's got a distribution deal through McCormick, if I'm not mistaken. It might be somebody else, but cannot find the Stubbs chili mix, and I'm kind of disappointed because everything else we've tried has just been.
Well, there you go. That concludes this morning's Spice Talk section.
Well, we're going to get a little bit of spicy with some White Rabbit talk. I don't want you putting your White Rabbit in my chili mix, but when logic and proportion have fallen sloppy dead, and the White Knight is talking backwards, and the Red Queen's off with her head, remember what the Dormouse said, feed your head, feed your head. Song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. Matthew, tonight, it is September 23rd. It's 9:23. Did you know on Monday Night Raw at exactly 9:23 Eastern on the hard camera side, somebody walked past the screen with the QR code?
This is absolutely genius. My goodness. This is the kind of stuff I love, and more importantly, this is the kind of stuff that is going to at least take us from, say Raw's 3 hours, and you're kind of passively watching here and there. It's a long show. You're going to have to watch this stuff on the edge of your seat, man. You're going to have to hang on every line that the commentary says, what the mic picks up from the in-ring dialogue. My goodness, Meathead, this is absolutely fantastic. And you talk about something to keep people engaged, not just week to week, but segment to segment. This is absolutely outstanding.
It's the kind of thing that we like. I mean, the Code from Chris Jericho was one of my favorite things we'd done in a long time. I know that you like the second coming of Chris Jericho. when he had what was it, the school kids, and he was on his way back again. But no, break the code, Y2J. I absolutely love that. The Jericho countdown. Just small things like that.
Hey,
It is
but
time.
I'll tell you what though, this does give me a great idea, Meathead, because everybody's going to be on the lookout for QR codes now. I mean, we just get a QR code made that's a direct link to PWR Today, and we just walk it across the hard camera side. My goodness, man, we're going to have billions of views.
That's right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put PWR Today in the Q code. The next time they come through your town, you'll be seeing it. So the White Rabbit song, and I mentioned this to you before, that I was like, wow, I love that song, and I think it's so eerie. Where was the last time I heard that? I'm like, wait a minute. They just used that for the Matrix last year. The Matrix Resurrections, I think it was. Where they brought the Matrix back.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There's a joke about getting old and you losing your memory and enjoying movies that you've seen because you think they're new movies. I honestly cannot recall if I've watched the new Matrix or not. I went on a little Matrix binge last year prior to the new one coming out, and I cannot remember if I concluded it with the new Matrix movie or not.
It wasn't terrible, but it also was eerie enough that I felt like I've seen half of it already.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
There's something to that. Because again, when Jefferson Airplane put out White Rabbit and just her like stone cold stare while she's singing it, it's creepy as hell, to be honest with you. Now let's talk theories here. There is talk that Karrion Kross might be involved as the live version of the Rabbit. Okay, and Karrion Kross had mentioned that he was the people's executioner. There's also talk that Who Killed the World, referencing from Mad Max Fury Road. Matthew, there's so much out there. So much out there.
Yeah, that would be the theory. If he's the real life version of Ramblin' Rabbit, dude, that's all I need, man. That's all I need. And now it would be great if he would be able to kind of transition in between the Karrion Kross we see now versus just kind of a goofy Ramblin' Rabbit. But let me ask you this: we're throwing the Kross thing out there. Does the fact that it cuts to black and white when we see him have anything to do with this? Now it's making me look at that in a little bit of a different light.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. Because we have seen him re-debut, I would seriously doubt this would just be a reboot on Kross's gimmick. I think, if that's the fact, yeah, okay, maybe he's a real life Rabbit, but hey, you're bringing the rest of the characters in and you bring in Bray in.
Wow. But this is really what we want. We want to talk about what's going on. We want to talk and kind of analyze and maybe give theories and maybe go down the rabbit hole, pun intended, of what this actually could be. It's possible he doesn't, or no one shows up tonight. It's possible we get something else.
That would almost be more effective, right? Or something, we get something at 9:23, but I mean,
Eastern,
of course,
because again, that only works on Eastern. Not everybody's on the East Coast time zone.
I, of course, want the payoff, but my goodness, they've got so much chatter and so many people talking. I think you could really, really play it out a little bit longer.
Okay. Well, it's 9:23, September 23rd. It is time for the White Rabbit to show up. Are you ready?
I'm absolutely ready.
Let's talk SmackDown for tonight. There's going to be a championship match. The Brawlin' Brutes fella going to get a tag team title shot against the Usos. Matthew, predictions, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad to see the Brutes get a title shot, but I don't think that belt's coming off of the Usos anytime soon.
Well, I don't want the belts to come off of anybody because I don't need their pants dropping. You're talking about the championships changing hands.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't think. Hey, if their pants do drop, I mean, remember, that's the butt crack rule, and I do have the Usos. So if for whatever reason one or more Usos expose said butt crack, I can drop them without any point deduction.
Okay. Good luck with all that. We're all counting on you.
Not that I want to drop the Usos.
Hey, Matthew, before we get into even farther into SmackDown, I forgot to ask you this. AEW from Wednesday night. What were your thoughts on the overall 2-hour presentation of Grand Slam?
As far as just presentation and just crowd enjoyment, it was probably one of my top AEW shows. It was a solid card. We knew what the card was going to be going in. It was a 2-hour show. It wasn't, your AEW pay-per-view where sometimes you can get a little bit out of hand and go 4.5 or so. This was a very self-contained show. I thought the arena looked great. The crowd reception was fantastic. And you had on that show, you had a lot of stuff that made the crowd feel good. The Acclaim comes to mind. The opening match, and there was a lot of people there, I think, that were really happy to see Jericho take that ROH title. So far what we've seen since the ROH title has been in the realm of Tony Khan. Yeah, it's been its thing, and a lot of people were happy to see Claudio with the win. But I think that Jericho as champion, you can really bring another level of interest to that title in the fact that, A, it's his first reign. B, he's not going to be your traditional code of honor guy. I think
he
that
did honor the code of honor.
He did, but very, very begrudgingly. I think he can really be a kind of a jumping off point to a lot of people in ROH.
Okay. If there is an ROH, we got all these titles that could defend it. How many titles does ROH have? They got 4 of them.
37.
For a company that technically doesn't exist because they don't run any shows.
Yeah.
They've got the Ring of Honor World Championship, the Ring of Honor Television Championship, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And they don't have any TV shows.
Yeah. You almost at this point.
And do they have a roster?
Yeah. Well, I think, isn't Colt Cabana technically signed to ROH?
Technically, but then Colt's got some issues with CM Punk that he needs to work out first. Boom, boom. I got issues. Boom, boom. With CM Punk. Boom, boom.
I can't wait for that to drop on Spotify.
Yeah, that song's coming out next week, actually. It's going to drop while it's hot on Tuesday. Your thoughts on the Acclaim wrestling as faces, Swerve in Their Glory wrestling as faces, and the crowd clearly going for the Acclaimed and booing everything Swerve in Their Glory did.
Yeah. Didn't make a ton of sense. Swerve in Their Glory, basically by crowd edict, have been heels since the last pay-per-view. I wish they would go ahead and embrace it for a little bit more of a, a little bit more of a story there. But no, apparently that's not I don't think the response, I don't think anybody knew that the crowd response that we saw at the last pay-per-view for the Acclaim was going to be what it was. And that is basically,
scissor me, daddy. Whoa,
oh my goodness,
scissor me, that blew my mind.
Yeah, once again, Billy Gunn at the forefront of something
of scissoring.
Something that's really, really hip. Something that's really, really hip with a hand gesture. That's kind of his forte, right?
That's funny. Absolutely tremendous. Hey, your thoughts on Saraya, formerly known as Paige, showing up in AEW?
A genuine surprise. I had not heard any of the chatter, and
it's ironic. We talked about it on yesterday's program that there was talks, and the article was from 4 or 5 hours before she debuted. Well, Saraya may be showing up.
It's a good thing I was busy yesterday and stayed off of DirtySheets.com because that probably would have spoiled me there. But even a step further, I really have not kept up with a lot of what she's done after she left the WWE. So when we have the music hit, but then we have the name on the screen, I didn't really mean much to me until she came out. And I'm like, oh, I didn't, I felt like as the show progressed, I felt like we were going to get the surprise in the women's match or after the women's match. But, just kind of scratching my head of free agent talent. She has been out of the scene for so long. It was not a name that came to mind.
Well, all right. SmackDown-wise, we're going to get Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, will be there to answer the challenge of Logan Paul. But let's move over to AEW's GrandSlam Rampage. It's a 2-hour program. Matthew, I got the entire match list. Folks, yes, it's Friday morning. Yes, the show's already aired. We're not going to give you spoilers. It's not what, we do. First off, Sting and Darby against the House of Black, Brody King and Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, I mean, I see Sting and Darby going over here. I'm really curious as to what kind of match this is because we know last time that we saw Brody and Darby matchup, it was a very brutal match. Are we going to get something similar? Are we going to get a little bit of a deviation? We haven't been seeing as much blood in AEW recently, especially with that title match between Danielson and Moxley a few nights ago. In another era, that thing would have been an absolute blood fest. Although we got a little bit of accidental stuff, and I could have done with that Britt Baker just rubbing
that was an accident, right?
On people. Yeah, it's like, all right, I see it, but we, there's one thing, Meathead. There's blood, whether intentional or accidental. And then there's blood play, okay? Right. We got a lot of it with Moxley because he likes to drink some blood. And then we transitioned to blood play with Britt because she's taking the blood and rubbing it on other people. It's like that's kind of my line right there.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. We also will have Hook and Action Bronson against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. I'm excited to see the dude from the neighborhood after 7 Coronas. I want to see what he's got going on. And there was limes in each one of them, straight from the cooler, right in the ice.
Oh my goodness, he's not messing around. We'll see what he brings to.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. Jade Cargill and Diamante with Trina. And I asked Linda yesterday, who the hell's Trina? Okay. Trina's a girl that did something. She goes, she was in that song with Missy, Minuteman. I'm like, oh yeah, I like that song. I have to go back and listen to it. Samoa Joe and Wardlow are now being called Jodlo. Against Tony Nese and Josh Woods. Your thoughts on Jade Cargill or the Joe and Wardlow match against Nese and Woods?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jade, who we're trying to highlight here, and Joe and Wardlow are who we're trying to highlight here. I mean, I think it's kind of the purpose here.
Has Jade Cargill killed the women's division?
So here's the thing. And I don't know if this is the way you perceive it as well too. I feel like she kind of operates in her own division. I don't necessarily associate her in this. Maybe this is not the purpose, but I do not associate her in that title with the rest of the women's division. And is that a success or failure? I don't know. I mean, you can point to it on one hand and say, okay, they have built up a star and made a quote unquote division. But yeah, she's had to beat a bunch of people for it, and she's kind of got her own thing. She kind of operates outside of the sphere of the rest of the women's division.
I find it as a problem, to be honest with you, because she's killed every contender she's had, and you can't take women out of the women's division and put them in the TBS Jade division because they'll end up killing them too. So we need to see something. Honestly, it's time for Jade to lose. It's time for something. But
I mean, let me ask you this. Would that have been a better debut of Saraya? I mean, because the person who
Wait, whoa. How did Paige debut in the WWE?
Yeah, it was a title win the night she was brought up, right?
She beat AJ Lee.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Raw the night after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Thomas. You need to be writing for DirtySheets.com.
I do. But that's the tough thing with AEW, man. I mean, you are quintessentially running a women's segment of show. So that has, ever since their debut, that has not been their strong point, is the women's division. Now you've almost got 2 separate women's divisions here, and I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know if that's the, who knows? I mean, maybe Saraya takes the title off of her, and then we get a title unification or something.
Okay, Jungle Boy and Ray Phoenix. I think it's going to be a solid match. Let's talk about Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston.
Ooh, yeah.
Eddie's pissed. You can see it in his face. Eddie's not playing games, and honestly, I can't wait to see if Eddie shaved for this because he's looking pretty rough.
Yeah, this will be fun, man. I want to see Eddie get some momentum and get get some wins and be a contender, man. Because I don't think they have realized what an Eddie push could be. I mean, it could be something I think similar to the whole Yes movement. in WWE. I mean, they've really got something in Eddie that they, but I think the problem is, they know Eddie's going to get cheered. They know he's somebody they can go to, so they don't necessarily see the need to get that groundswell under him.
So we've got the Golden Ticket Battle Royal happening tonight on Rampage. Now, would you like me to list off the participants of it? These are not announced. This is, again, folks, we're not going to give you the spoilers, but I have the list of the participants here, and I can run them down for you. Matthew, would you like me to read down the participants?
Yes, Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka is not in the match. How about Roosh? How about the Butcher, the Blade, Dark Order, Private Party? Danhausen will be in the match.
Yes.
Dante Martin, Penta, El Zero, Miedo, Brian Cage, the Machine.
Oh my goodness.
Ari Daivari, the Murder Hawk Monster, Lance Archer, Daniel Garcia, Cole Carter, Best Friends, Chick Hager, Lee Moriarty, Matt Hardy, Jay Lethal, Adam Page, and a surprise, and I know Linda's going to be excited for it, Dalton Castle.
Ooh. Fantastic.
Guesses, picks. Who do you think's got this?
Sounds like it might be made for Brian Cage.
Ooh, okay. Well, again, I have the results in front of me, so I'm not going to guess.
Yeah.
The main event, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs will be in a lights-out match.
Yeah, interesting. Here's the thing: I like seeing Ricky Starks main event. That's all I'm going to go with here. I want to see Ricky get the win here. That's another person and that's one thing, Meathead, that felt so good about the Acclaim victory is it felt like homegrown AEW talent.
There you go. Because they said it in the commentary, Matthew, that we were there at day one when these kids.
Yeah, a chilly night at Daly's place, and I think you got the same thing. You talk about the pillars or whatever, but I think, I think it's a changing thing. But right now, you look at original talent. You've got the Acclaim, you've got Ricky Stark, you've got MJF,
full of homegrown.
Yeah,
that's something WCW barely ever had.
Yeah, and you've still got you've still got your ex-WWE people, but I mean, of course, in the case with Punk, it might not be working out the best, but I mean, it's definitely a different feel than WCW. I mean, these are not. It's not Hogan, it's not Savage, and absolutely nothing against them, but you've got people that are they are more or less, they're the people that were not necessarily the iconic superstars in WWE. In a lot of cases, they were the people, they may have been champions, but they are perceived and viewed as underappreciated by WWE. So I think that there's a little bit of a different type of feeling there.
Well, we've got a big set of wrestling shows tonight. The White Rabbit, the Golden Ticket Battle Royal. Oof, we got a lot of stuff. And there's some surprises, too, I skipped over, Matthew. So, for Matthew Thomas, for Linda Kay, who's down in the Ville, down at OV Dub, the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to talk to you guys Monday morning. So long, everyone.